The lipstick stain on his collar is the exact shade I wore to my sister's wedding last night. I know this because I'm staring at it right now, at 6:30 in the morning, while the man wearing the collar stands in my kitchen like he owns it, making espresso with the kind of casual confidence that suggests he's done this before. In my kitchen. Which is impossible because I've never seen him before in my life, except there's a champagne flute on my nightstand that I don't remember drinking. A men's watch on my bathroom counter that costs more than my annual salary. And I'm wearing a shirt that definitely isn't mine. White cotton, expensive, smelling like cedar, and something darker, richer. Something that makes my stomach clench with sense memory I can't quite access. "Coffee?" he asks, and his voice is smoke and gravel and the kind of accent that suggests he learned English somewhere expensive. Not Italian. I'd recognize Italian. This is something else. Something Eastern European softened by years in America. I should say no. I should demand he leave. I should call someone. My sister, my best friend, the police, anyone who can explain why there's a 6'3" stranger in my apartment making coffee like we're married, but instead I hear myself say, "Yes." He smiles. It's a small thing, just a quirk of his mouth, but it transforms his entire face. He's handsome in a way that's almost aggressive, sharp cheekbones, a jaw that could cut glass, dark eyes that miss absolutely nothing. The kind of handsome that comes with a warning label, the kind I've spent my entire life avoiding. "How do you take it?" he asks. "Black. 2 sugars." He doesn't ask me to repeat myself. Doesn't hesitate. Just adds exactly the right amount of sugar to the espresso cup and slides it across my kitchen counter with the same fluid grace he probably uses for everything. Like he's never made an awkward movement in his life. I take the cup. Our fingers don't touch, but I'm acutely aware of how close they come. Of the heat radiating from his hand. Of the way he's watching me, not leering, not aggressive, just observing, like I'm a puzzle he's trying to solve. "Thank you," I manage. "You're welcome, Harper." I nearly drop the cup. "How do you know my name?" His eyebrow lifts. Just one, a perfect arch of amusement. "You told me, last night. Along with your opinions on destination weddings, the criminal justice system, and why anyone who puts pineapple on pizza should be tried at The Hague." Oh God. I don't remember that, I admit, because lying seems pointless when he's clearly been here all night, when I'm wearing his shirt, when there's a lipstick stain on his collar that tells a story I desperately need to remember. "I know." He takes a sip of his own espresso, straight, no sugar, which somehow fits him perfectly. "You had quite a bit of champagne. Your sister kept refilling your glass." That sounds like Sloane. My sister, the bride, who's been trying to get me to loosen up for the past 5 years, who apparently succeeded spectacularly last night. "And you are?" "Maxime." He sets down his cup. "We met at the wedding. You spilled wine on my shoes." I close my eyes. Of course I did. Of course my drunk introduction to this man, this gorgeous, intense, clearly too good for me man, involved me dumping wine on his probably $1,000 shoes. "I'm so sorry," I say. "Don't be. They needed to be replaced anyway." He's lying. I can hear it in his voice, that particular tone men use when they're being gracious about something that actually annoyed them. "Besides, you offered to pay for the dry cleaning. I believe your exact words were, 'I'm a social worker, not a trust fund baby, but I have $17 and a Starbucks gift card.'" I did say that. The memory surfaces like a bubble. Me, wobbling in heels I can't walk in, staring up at a man who looked like he stepped out of a Tom Ford ad, offering him my pathetic wallet contents while Sloane laughed in the background. "And then?" I prompt, because clearly there's more. "There's the part where he ended up in my apartment, in my kitchen, close enough that I can smell his cologne, something woody and expensive that's going to live in my sheets for weeks. And then you asked if I was single." "Oh no." And I said yes. "Oh no." And you said, "Good, because I think you're the most beautiful man I've ever seen, and I'd like to take you home." I'm going to die. Right here in my kitchen, wearing his shirt and holding expensive espresso, death by embarrassment. They'll find my body and wonder why I'm smiling, because despite the mortification, there's a part of me, a reckless part I didn't know existed, that's proud of drunk me for having that kind of courage. Did I? I croak. You did. He moves closer. Not threatening, just closer. Close enough that I have to tilt my head back to maintain eye contact. Close enough that I can see the faint scar above his eyebrow, the shadow of stubble on his jaw, the way his eyes aren't quite black. They're dark brown, the color of espresso, the color of melted chocolate, the color of every bad decision I've apparently made in the last 12 hours. So, I brought you home. And then? And then you fell asleep in the car. I blink. I fell asleep? Immediately. One moment you were discussing your theory about organized crime in municipal construction contracts, surprisingly well informed, by the way, and the next you were unconscious with your head on my shoulder. His mouth quirks again. I carried you upstairs. You woke up long enough to demand I stay because you were not done talking about corruption yet. Then you fell asleep again, on top of the covers, still in your dress. Relief floods through me so fast I actually sway. Nothing happened. I changed you, he continues, and the relief stutters. You asked me to, said the dress was too tight and you couldn't breathe. I put you in my shirt, put you under the covers, and slept on your couch. He gestures to the living room, where I can now see a blanket folded neatly on the cushions, a pillow stacked on top. You're safe, Harper. You've been safe all night. I should feel grateful. I should feel relieved. And I do. But there's also something else. Something that feels dangerously like disappointment. Like some reckless part of me wishes drunk Harper had stayed awake long enough to finish what she started. Thank you, I say, and I mean it. You didn't have to do that. You could have... No. The word is flat. Final. I couldn't have. There's weight in that statement. History. The kind of certainty that comes from personal rules that are never, ever broken. I'm a social worker. I recognize trauma responses when I see them. This man has lines he won't cross, and they're drawn in permanent marker. Okay, I say softly. Thank you for taking care of me. You're welcome. He finishes his espresso in one smooth motion, sets the cup in my sink. I should go. Wait. The word escapes before I can stop it. He pauses, turns back, and I realize I have absolutely no plan for what comes next. I just know I'm not ready for him to leave, for this surreal morning to end, for Maxim, beautiful, careful, mysterious Maxim, to walk out of my apartment and my life. The lipstick, on your collar, that's from me? He glances down at the mark, my mark apparently, and something flickers across his face. Amusement, maybe. Or something darker. You kissed me, last night, before you fell asleep in the car. You said, just one, so I remember you're real. The memory hits me like a freight train. His face in the dim light of the car, my hand on his jaw, the way he'd gone completely still, like he was giving me the chance to change my mind. The soft, careful pressure of his mouth against mine. Just for a second. Just long enough to taste expensive whiskey and promises I couldn't keep. The way he'd pulled back first, his hand steady on my waist, his voice rough. Sleep now, Harper. We'll talk in the morning. I remember, I whisper. His eyes darken. Good. We stand there, in my tiny kitchen, with 5 feet of space between us that suddenly feels like 5 inches. The morning light coming through my window turns his hair almost bronze. He's still wearing last night's clothes, dark slacks, white shirt with the sleeves rolled to his elbows, revealing forearms that are all lean muscle and raised veins. No tie, top 2 buttons undone. He looks like Sex and Danger and every romance novel I've ever read at 3 a.m. when I can't sleep. Can I see you again? The question is out before I can overthink it, before I can remember all the reasons this is a terrible idea, before professional Harper can overrule reckless Harper. He's quiet for a long moment. Too long. Long enough that I start to backtrack, to make excuses, to laugh it off as morning after awkwardness. "You don't know me," he says finally. "I know you made me coffee. I know you slept on my couch when you could have left. I know you have a scar above your left eyebrow and you take your espresso black and you fold blankets like you're in the military." I'm babbling now, but I can't stop. I know I spilled wine on your shoes and you weren't actually mad. I know I feel safe with you, which is insane because I don't know you, but I do. Feel safe, I mean. You shouldn't. His voice is rough now, raw. Feel safe with me. Why not? Because I'm not a good man, Harper. I've heard that line before, from clients, from the men I interview for case files, from every damaged person who's ever walked through my office door looking for help they don't think they deserve. It's the kind of thing people say when they've decided their past defines their future, when they've given up on redemption. I don't believe you, I say. His jaw tightens. You should. A bad man wouldn't have taken care of me last night. A bad man wouldn't have slept on the couch. A bad man wouldn't be trying to warn me away right now. I set down my espresso cup, move closer. 1 step, 2. Until we're close enough that I can feel the heat coming off him, see the way his chest rises and falls just slightly faster than normal. So either you're lying about being bad, or you're lying about warning me away. Which is it? For a moment, I think he's going to answer. His hand comes up, hovers near my face like it did last night, close enough to feel the warmth, not close enough to touch. His eyes drop to my mouth. I can see him calculating, weighing options, fighting something internal. Then his phone buzzes. The moment shatters. He steps back, pulls the phone from his pocket, glances at the screen. Whatever he sees there makes his entire body go rigid. Not afraid? I don't think this man knows how to be afraid, but alert. Ready. "I have to go," he says, and this time there's no room for argument. "Wait," I start, but he's already moving. Toward the door, away from me, away from whatever was building between us in my kitchen. He pauses with his hand on the doorknob, doesn't turn around. "Your sister has my number," he says. "If you want to see me again, if you're sure, ask her for it. But think carefully, Harper. Some doors, once you open them, don't close." And then he's gone. I stand in my kitchen for a full minute, staring at the closed door, trying to process what just happened, trying to understand how a stranger became someone I'm already missing, trying to decide if I'm brave enough or stupid enough to ask Sloan for his number. My phone rings. Speak of the devil. "Tell me everything," Sloan demands before I can even say hello. "And I mean everything. You left with Maxim Volkov last night and I've been dying." Volkov? The name sounds familiar. Wrong familiar. The kind of familiar that lives in case files and news reports and… oh no. "Please tell me that's not the Volkov," I say slowly. Sloan hesitates. "Define the Volkov." The Volkov who owns half the construction companies in the city, the Volkov who's been investigated by the FBI twice and walked away clean both times, the Volkov who is absolutely, definitely, 100% connected to the Russian Bratva. The silence on the other end of the line is deafening. Sloan. "Okay, so, funny story," my sister starts. "This isn't funny. He's not actually a bad guy. Derek's been working with him for years and he's completely legitimate now. Mostly legitimate-ish. Derek is her new husband, who apparently failed to mention he does business with organized crime. And he was so nice to you last night. You guys talked for hours. You were laughing. I've never seen you laugh like that." I sink into a chair. The espresso cup is still on the counter. His phone number is apparently 1 call away. And I've just realized that the most beautiful man I've ever met, the man who made me feel safe, who took care of me, who warned me away, is exactly the kind of man I spend my professional life trying to protect people from. "Harper?" Sloan's voice is worried now. "Are you okay?" "I don't know," I admit, "because I'm not sure if I am. I'm not sure if the flutter in my stomach is fear or anticipation. I'm not sure if I should delete his number from my mind or memorize it. I'm not sure if "some doors don't close" was a warning or a promise. I'm not sure of anything except this. I want to see him again, even though I shouldn't, even though it's dangerous, even though every professional instinct I have is screaming at me to run in the opposite direction. I want to see him again. "Give me his number," I hear myself say. "Harper, Sloan, give me his number." She does. I write it down on the back of a receipt, my handwriting shaky. Stare at it for a long moment. Think about everything I know about men like him, about violence and power and the criminal justice system I've spent years navigating, about all the women I've helped escape situations they thought they could handle. Then I think about the way he folded the blanket, the perfect amount of sugar in my coffee, the careful way he touched me, never too much, never without permission, the warning in his voice. "You don't know me. Maybe I don't, but I want to." I pick up my phone, type out the number, stare at the empty message field. What do you say to a man like that? To someone who lives in a world you've only seen through case files and police reports? To someone who warned you away but gave you the tools to chase him anyway? My fingers move. You left before I could thank you properly. Dinner? My treat. I owe you for the dry cleaning. I hit send before I can overthink it, before professional Harper can talk reckless Harper out of it, before I can remember all the reasons this is a terrible idea. The response comes 30 seconds later. I don't accept dinner invitations from women who don't know what they're getting into. I type back. Then tell me, what am I getting into? The typing indicator appears, disappears, appears again. I can practically feel him weighing his response, choosing his words carefully, something you won't be able to walk away from. My heart is pounding now. My hands are shaking. I should stop. I should put the phone down. I should go to work and forget about Maxim Volkov and his warnings and the way he looked at me in my kitchen like I was something precious and dangerous all at once. Should. But apparently drunk Harper and morning Harper are in complete agreement about this. Maybe I don't want to walk away. This time the response is immediate. Address, tonight, 8 p.m. Wear something nice. And Harper? Yes? Last chance to change your mind. I stare at that message for a long time, at the warning embedded in it. At the door he's offering me one more chance to close. Then I send him my address and spend the rest of the day pretending I'm not counting down the hours. Work is impossible to focus on. I have 3 client meetings, 2 home visits, and a mountain of paperwork that requires my signature, and all I can think about is tonight. About Maxim Volkov and his careful hands and the way his voice sounded when he said, "I'm not a good man." About whether I'm being brave or stupid, about whether there's even a difference anymore. "You're distracted," my coworker Ivy observes during lunch. She's been my cubicle neighbor for 4 years and knows me well enough to spot when something's wrong, or in this case, when something's dangerously right. "I have a date tonight," I admit. "With the wedding guy?" She grins. "Sloan texted me. She said you left with some gorgeous stranger and she hasn't stopped shipping it since." She would. So what's the problem? You deserve a gorgeous stranger. You've been single for 2 years. 3, actually, but who's counting? He's complicated. All the good ones are. If only she knew. If only I could explain that complicated is code for possibly criminal, and gorgeous stranger means man who makes the FBI nervous. But I can't. Because saying it out loud would make it real, would force me to confront exactly what I'm doing. "Just be careful," Ivy says, more serious now. "You have good instincts, Harper. Trust them." The problem is, I don't know which instinct to trust. The professional one that says run, or the personal one that says stay. By the time I get home at 6:30, I have 90 minutes to transform myself from exhausted social worker to someone who can hold her own across the table from a man like Maxim Volkov, someone confident, someone who didn't spend her morning wearing his shirt and drinking his coffee and memorizing the way he folds blankets. I shower, wash my hair, stand in front of my closet for 20 minutes trying to decode, wear something nice. Nice for a normal dinner? Nice for an interrogation? Nice for a man who warned me away twice but gave me his number anyway? I settle on a black dress, simple, elegant, with a neckline that suggests confidence without trying too hard. Heels I can actually walk in. Minimal jewelry. Hair down, because some instinct tells me he'll like it better that way. When I look in the mirror, I barely recognize myself. This isn't social worker Harper, who wears comfortable pants and keeps granola bars in her desk. This is someone else. Someone who texts dangerous men. Someone who ignores warnings. Someone who looks at doors marked "Do Not Enter" and walks through them anyway. The buzzer rings at exactly 8 p.m. I take a breath. Check my reflection one more time. Wonder if it's too late to cancel, to pretend I'm not home, to go back to my safe, predictable life where the most dangerous thing I do is skip breakfast. Then I press the button. Come up. The 60 seconds it takes him to reach my door are the longest of my life. I pace. I check my lipstick. I pace some more. I consider every terrible decision that led me here and decide I wouldn't change any of them. The knock is firm, confident, exactly what I expected. I open the door. He's in a suit, charcoal gray, perfectly tailored, the kind that costs more than my monthly rent. No tie, white shirt open at the collar, hair slightly damp like he showered right before coming here, and he's holding flowers, deep red roses, a dozen of them wrapped in black paper. Hi, I manage. Harper. His eyes move over me, slowly, thoroughly, in a way that makes me hyper-aware of every inch of exposed skin. When they return to my face, something in them has darkened. You look beautiful. So do you. The words tumble out before I can stop them, and he smiles. A real smile this time, not just the quirk of his mouth. It transforms his entire face, makes him look younger, almost boyish. These are for you. He offers the roses. Red for courage. You'll need it. I take them, our fingers brushing. That same electric awareness from this morning, multiplied by the fact that we're both fully awake now, fully present, fully aware of what we're doing. Should I be worried? I ask, setting the flowers on the entry table. Yes. He doesn't smile. But you're going to come anyway, aren't you? Yes. Then let's go. His car is exactly what I expected. Something sleek and black and German that probably has bulletproof windows. He opens my door, waits until I'm settled, then walks around to the driver's side with that fluid grace that suggests he's always aware of his body in space, always ready. Where are we going? I ask as he pulls into traffic. Somewhere we can talk without interruption. That should worry me more than it does. Instead, I'm curious. Your place? No. His hand shifts on the steering wheel, and I notice for the first time that his knuckles are scarred. Old injuries, healed rough. Not yet. Tonight is neutral territory. You make it sound like a negotiation. Isn't it? He glances at me, and in the dim light of the car, his eyes are almost black. You're deciding if you want to see me again. I'm deciding if I should let you. Let me? The word sparks something defensive in my chest. I'm not asking permission. No. His mouth quirks. You're not, which is part of the problem. How is that a problem? Because women who ask permission are easy to say no to. Women who don't. He trails off, returns his eyes to the road. Women who don't are dangerous. To whom? To me. The confession hangs in the air between us. I should probably analyze it, dissect it, figure out what game he's playing, but I'm too busy trying to process the idea that I, Harper Chen, social worker, chronic rule follower, woman who alphabetizes her spices, could be dangerous to anyone, let alone a man like him. We drive in silence for another 10 minutes. Out of my neighborhood, through downtown, into a part of the city I don't recognize. Old warehouses converted into trendy spaces, art galleries next to underground clubs. The kind of area that's gentrifying rapidly, where old money and new money collide in interesting ways. He pulls up to a building with no sign, just a red door, and a man in a suit standing guard. Maxim. The guard nods, doesn't ask questions, just opens the door. Inside is a restaurant that doesn't exist on any map I know. Small, Maybe 10 tables, all of them empty except one in the back corner. Soft lighting, live piano music, the kind of place that caters to people who don't want to be seen. Private dining? I ask as he guides me to the corner table, his hand warm on my lower back. Something like that. A waiter appears immediately. Maxime orders for both of us. In Russian, I think, though I can't be sure. The waiter nods, disappears. You didn't ask what I wanted, I point out. Do you trust me? It's a loaded question. We both know it. But I find myself saying, yes, and meaning it. He leans back in his chair, studies me with that intense focus that makes me feel like I'm the only person in the world. Why? Why what? Why do you trust me? You barely know me. You've spent maybe 4 hours total in my presence. You know what I am? Your sister told you. So why are you here? It's a good question. The right question. The one I've been avoiding asking myself all day. Because you didn't have to take care of me last night, I say slowly. You could have taken me home, left me at my door, disappeared. But you didn't. You stayed. You made sure I was safe. You slept on my couch even though it's 6 inches too short for you. I saw the pillow placement. You were definitely uncomfortable. And then this morning, you made me coffee and you warned me away, which means you're either genuinely dangerous or genuinely concerned about me thinking you're dangerous. Either way, that's not the behavior of someone I need to fear. He's quiet for a long moment. You're good at reading people. It's my job. And what do you read in me? I take my time answering. Really look at him. At the sharp suit and sharper eyes, the controlled posture and careful hands, the way he's positioned himself with his back to the wall and clear sightlines to both exits. Classic protection stance, classic hypervigilance. I read someone who's very good at being in control, I say finally. Someone who's seen violence, probably participated in it. Someone who has lines he won't cross and a code he follows, even if it's not the law. Someone who's lonely, but won't admit it. Someone who's surprised that I'm here but trying not to show it. His expression doesn't change, but something flickers behind his eyes. Anything else? You're scared of me. That gets a reaction. His eyebrow lifts. Scared? Terrified. I lean forward. Not physically, but emotionally. You're scared that I might actually see you, really see you, and not run away. You're scared that maybe you're not as bad as you think you are. And most of all, you're scared that this, I gesture between us, might actually be real. The silence stretches. The piano player transitions into something slower, sadder. The waiter brings wine, expensive, red, probably older than I am. Finally, Maxime speaks. You're right. His voice is rough. About all of it. I am terrified of you, Harper. Because you're exactly the kind of woman I swore I'd never let into my life. The kind who believes in good and evil, right and wrong. The kind who sees the world in color when I've been living in black and white for so long I forgot other shades existed. The kind who makes me want things I have no right wanting. Like what? Like normal dinners, Sunday mornings. Someone to come home to who isn't afraid of me. He takes a drink of wine, sets the glass down carefully. Like redemption, maybe, which is the most dangerous thing of all. My heart is pounding. Why is that dangerous? Because redemption requires hope, and hope, in my world, gets people killed. The waiter returns with food, something exquisite, plated like art. I should probably eat it. Should probably comment on the flavor, the presentation, the way it melts on my tongue. But all I can focus on is Maxime, sitting across from me, carefully dismantling every defense I thought I had. What if I'm not afraid of your world? I ask. You should be. That's not an answer. It's the only answer I have. He leans forward, and suddenly the table between us feels very small. Listen to me, Harper. I'm not exaggerating when I say I'm dangerous. I've done things, terrible things, that I can never take back. I've hurt people. I've given orders that ended lives. I operate in spaces where the law doesn't reach, and consequences are permanent. You work in child protective services. You save people. I'm the kind of man you save people from. And yet you took care of me last night. That's different. How? Because you're... He stops, resets. Because I couldn't not take care of you. The confession sits between us like a live wire. I should probably be sensible, should probably finish this meal, thank him politely, go home and delete his number, and forget this ever happened. Should. Instead, I reach across the table and place my hand over his. His entire body goes still, like I've done something shocking, something unthinkable. Harper, he says, and it's a warning. I know what you are, I say quietly. I'm not naive. I'm not some romance novel heroine who thinks love conquers all. I understand that you're dangerous, that your life is complicated, that being with you would be... I pause, search for the right word. Challenging. Then why? Because you're also the man who folds blankets, who makes perfect coffee, who looked at drunk me and saw someone worth protecting instead of exploiting, who's sitting here right now trying to warn me away because you think that's the noble thing to do. I squeeze his hand. You're not as bad as you think you are, Maxim Volkov, and I'm not as fragile as you're afraid I am. His thumb moves, just slightly, brushes across my knuckles in a touch so light I almost imagine it. But it's there, deliberate. A response. If I let you in, he says slowly, there's no going back, my world. It's not something you visit. Once you're in, you're in. People will know you're mine. They'll use you to get to me. They'll threaten you. You'll never be completely safe again. I'm not safe now. I think about my job, my clients, the domestic violence cases I handle, the angry fathers and desperate mothers and children caught in the crossfire. I work with dangerous people every day. I've been threatened. I've had my tires slashed. I've had clients show up at my apartment at 2 a.m. looking for help I can't give. Safety is an illusion, Maxim. The only question is, who do you want standing next to you when the illusion breaks? He stares at me for a long moment. Then he turns his hand over, laces his fingers through mine, and holds on. I want it to be you, he admits. I've wanted it to be you since you spilled wine on my shoes and looked up at me like I was something miraculous instead of something to fear. I've wanted it since you fell asleep on my shoulder talking about construction corruption. I've wanted it since this morning when you stood in your kitchen wearing my shirt and demanded to see me again. His grip tightens. But wanting something and being good for someone are two different things. Then let me decide what's good for me. Harper, I'm a grown woman, Maxim. I make life or death decisions for children every single day. I assess dangerous situations for a living. I think I can assess this. I lean forward until we're close enough that I can see the gold flecks in his dark eyes. I want to see where this goes. I want to know you. I want Sunday mornings and normal dinners and someone to come home to, and I want it to be you. So stop trying to protect me from yourself and let me make my own choices. The silence that follows is deafening. I can see him warring with himself between what he wants and what he thinks he should do, between keeping me safe and letting me in. Finally, he speaks. Okay. Okay? Okay. He brings my hand to his mouth, presses a kiss to my knuckles that sends electricity straight up my arm. But we do this my way. You want to know my world? I'll show you. But you follow my rules. You stay safe. You trust me when I tell you something is dangerous, and if I say run, you run. Agreed? Agreed. And Harper? His eyes are serious now. Deadly serious. Once we do this, once you really understand what my life is, you can't unknow it. You can't go back to seeing me as just some guy you met at a wedding. You'll know exactly what I am, what I do, and you'll have to decide if you can live with that. I understand. I hope you do. He releases my hand, signals the waiter. Because we're starting tonight. We don't finish dinner. Instead, Maxim pays the bill. Cash, I notice, large denominations, and guides me out of the restaurant with his hand on my lower back. The guard at the door nods as we pass. The street is dark, empty except for his car and the sound of distant traffic. Where are we going? I ask. I'm going to show you something. He opens my car door. Something I don't show many people, something that will help you understand. We drive deeper into the warehouse district. The buildings here are older, more industrial, less gentrified, the kind of area where you don't walk alone at night. He pulls up to a warehouse that looks abandoned from the outside, but when he opens the door with a key card, I see it's anything but empty. Inside is a gym, not a commercial one, a private facility, boxing ring in the center, weight equipment along the walls, punching bags hanging from reinforced beams, and men, at least 24 of them, training, sparring, working through combinations with the kind of precision that suggests military or martial arts backgrounds. They all stop when we enter. "Boss?" one of them says. A younger guy, maybe 25, with Cyrillic tattoos covering his forearms. "Continue," Maxim orders. They do, but I can feel them watching, assessing, trying to figure out who I am and why I'm here. Maxim guides me to an office overlooking the gym. Glass walls on 3 sides, soundproofed. Inside, a desk, computer, filing cabinets, and a wall covered in photographs. "This is my legitimate business," he says, closing the door behind us. "Combat training facility, self-defense courses, private security, completely legal." I study the photographs, men in tactical gear, graduation ceremonies, before and after transformations. One photo in particular catches my eye. A group shot, maybe 30 people, all wearing matching shirts. They look like a family. "These are the men downstairs?" I ask. "Some of them." He moves to stand beside me. Most are former military, some are immigrants looking for work, a few are ex-convicts trying to rebuild their lives. I give them training, employment, structure. In exchange, they give me loyalty. "And what do you need loyalty for?" He's quiet for a moment. Then, "My legitimate businesses require protection, from competitors, from gangs, from people who think they can take what I've built. These men provide that protection." "Legal protection?" "Legal protection." I turn to face him. "And the illegal part?" "The illegal part," he says slowly, "is that I grew up in the Bratva. My father was a high-ranking member. I inherited his contacts, his obligations, his enemies. I've spent the last 10 years transitioning everything to legitimate operations, but there are still connections, favors owed, relationships I can't simply walk away from without consequences." "Like what?" "Like people who ask me for help with problems the police can't solve. Like businesses that pay me for protection because the alternative is worse. Like information that comes to me because I have access to networks that law enforcement doesn't." He meets my eyes. "I don't run drugs, I don't traffic humans, I don't prey on the vulnerable, but I exist in the gray areas, Harper, and sometimes I have to make choices that aren't black and white." I process this. It's not a surprise. I suspected as much. But hearing it confirmed is different than suspecting it. "Have you killed anyone?" I ask. "Yes." "Recently?" "Not in the last 5 years." "Why did you stop?" "Because I was tired." The confession seems to surprise him as much as it surprises me. Tired of violence, tired of blood, tired of waking up wondering if today would be the day someone finally came for me. So I started building something else, something legitimate, something I could be proud of instead of ashamed. "And you've succeeded." "Mostly." He turns away, looks down at the gym floor where his men are training. "But success in my world doesn't erase the past. It just gives you better options for the future." I move to stand beside him. Watch the men below, the way they move, the discipline, the camaraderie. It reminds me of team sports, of brotherhood. "Why did you bring me here?" I ask. "Because you deserve to know the truth. All of it. Not the sanitized version. Not the story I tell at charity dinners." He looks at me. "You deserve to understand exactly what you're choosing. Who you're choosing. I'm choosing you. You're choosing a man with blood on his hands." "Yes." I turn to face him fully. "I am. But I'm also choosing the man who employs ex-convicts, who trains veterans, who builds legitimate businesses because he's tired of violence. The past doesn't disappear, Maxim, but it also doesn't have to define the future. He reaches out, cups my face with one calloused hand. His touch is gentle, impossibly gentle for someone who's admitted to killing. How are you real? I'm not sure anymore. I lean into his palm. 6 months ago, I would never have imagined I'd be standing in a gym owned by a former Bratva member, defending his right to redemption, but here I am. Here you are, he echoes. His thumb brushes across my cheekbone. Beautiful, brave, completely insane. Probably. Definitely. He leans closer. Close enough that I can feel his breath on my lips. Last chance, Harper. You can walk away right now. I'll drive you home. We'll forget this happened. You can go back to your safe life. I don't want safe. What do you want? This. I close the distance between us. You. He kisses me like he's been holding back for years, like I'm oxygen and he's been drowning. His hand slides into my hair, his other arm wraps around my waist, and suddenly I'm pressed against him with nowhere to go and no desire to leave. The kiss is deep, claiming, full of barely restrained hunger. I can feel every hard plane of his body, feel the way his heart is racing to match mine. When we finally break apart, we're both breathing hard. Inside, he says roughly. Not here. Why not here? Because there are 24 men downstairs who will know exactly what we're doing, and I don't share. Heat floods through me. Your place? My place. We leave through a back exit. His hand doesn't leave my waist the entire time. His place turns out to be a penthouse in one of the new high-rises downtown, the kind of building with a doorman who greets him by name, an elevator that requires a key card for the top floor, and security cameras in every corner. How many people have access to this floor? I ask as the elevator rises. 3. Me, my head of security, and now you. The doors open directly into his apartment, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, minimalist furniture, all clean lines and quality materials, art on the walls that's probably worth more than my car, and books everywhere, entire walls of them. You read, I observe. Surprised? A little. What did you expect? Weapons and vodka? Maybe. I move to the bookshelf, scan the titles. Philosophy, history, classic literature, modern thrillers, an eclectic mix that tells me more about him than any conversation could. You have good taste. I have a lot of time alone. He shrugs off his jacket, loosens his collar. The casual domesticity of it makes my heart clench. Would you like something to drink? Water is fine. He disappears into the kitchen. I continue exploring, taking in the details. No photographs. Interesting. A chess set on the side table, mid-game. A piano in the corner that looks played rather than decorative. You play? I ask when he returns with 2 glasses of water, when I can't sleep. Which is often. More often than I'd like. He hands me the water, our fingers brush. That same electricity from before, multiplied by proximity and possibility. Harper. His voice is serious. If you want to leave, if this is moving too fast, tell me now, because once you stay, I'm not going to want to let you go. I set down the water, step closer, place my hand on his chest, feel his heart pounding beneath my palm. I'm not going anywhere. His control snaps. He kisses me again, harder this time, more demanding. His hands slide down my back, pull me flush against him. I can feel every inch of him, feel the want radiating off him in waves. My fingers find his shirt buttons, start working them open. He groans against my mouth. Bedroom, he manages. Yes. He lifts me, just scoops me up like I weigh nothing, and carries me down a hallway. The bedroom is dark, masculine, dominated by a massive bed with dark sheets. He sets me down gently, steps back. Are you sure? He asks, and the vulnerability in his voice nearly breaks me. I'm sure. I need to hear you say it. I want this. I reach for him. I want you. I'm sure. That's all the permission he needs. What happens next is tender and fierce and everything I didn't know I needed. He worships every inch of me like I'm precious, like I'm the first good thing he's had in years, like he can't quite believe I'm real and he's terrified I'll disappear. Afterward, we lie tangled together in his sheets, my head on his chest, his fingers tracing lazy patterns on my shoulder. "Stay," he says quietly. "I'm not planning to leave." "No, I mean," he pauses. "Stay. Tomorrow. The next day. As long as you want. I know it's fast. I know we barely know each other, but I don't care. I want you here." I should probably say no. Should probably suggest we take things slower, be sensible, remember that we met 3 days ago. Should probably point out all the reasons this is insane. Instead, I hear myself say, "Okay." His arms tighten around me. "Really? Really?" I tilt my head to look at him. "On one condition." "Anything. You have to tell me about the scar above your eyebrow." He laughs, a real laugh, surprised and genuine. "Deal." We fall asleep like that, wrapped around each other, and for the first time in years I feel completely safe. I wake up to sunlight streaming through unfamiliar windows and the smell of coffee. For a moment, I panic. Where am I? Then memory floods back. Maxim, the warehouse, his penthouse. Last night. Oh God, last night. I sit up, clutching the sheet to my chest. I'm wearing one of his shirts again. When did that happen? The bedroom is empty, but I can hear movement in the kitchen. My phone is on the nightstand. 23 missed calls, 15 texts, all from Sloan. "Where are you?" "Harper Rose Chen, answer your phone. I swear, if you're dead, I'm going to kill you." "Okay," Derek says. "Maxim texted him that you're fine, but you need to call me." "Call me." I wince. Call her. She answers on the first ring. "Where the hell have you been?" "With Maxim." "All night?" "All night." The squeal that follows probably damages my hearing permanently. "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, tell me everything. Wait, not everything. You're my sister, that's gross, but tell me some things." "Sloan, is he a good kisser? He looks like he'd be a good kisser. Did you? Oh God, you totally did, didn't you? Harper Chen, you slept with him." I'm hanging up now. "Wait." She composes herself. Slightly. "Seriously though, are you okay? Are you happy? Is he treating you well?" I glance toward the kitchen, where Maxim is making coffee in low-slung pajama pants and nothing else. "Yeah," I say softly. "I'm really happy." "Good. Because Derek says Maxim is the real deal, like, scary intense when he cares about someone, and apparently he's been asking about you non-stop since the wedding." She pauses. "Just be careful, okay? I know he's legitimate now, but his world is still complicated, and I don't want you to get hurt." I know what I'm doing. Do you? It's a fair question. Do I know what I'm doing? Do I understand the implications of dating a man like Maxim Volkov? Do I grasp the potential consequences? Probably not. But I'm doing it anyway. I'll be careful, I promise. Okay, love you. Call me later with details. She hangs up before I can protest. Maxim appears in the doorway, holding 2 cups of coffee. "Your sister? How did you know?" "You have a very specific expression when you talk to her, like you're exasperated and fond at the same time." He hands me a cup, perfect amount of sugar, of course. "Everything okay?" "Everything's perfect." I take a sip, though she wants details. "What kind of details?" "The kind I'm not sharing." He smiles. "Good. Those are just for us." He sits on the edge of the bed, and I'm struck again by how beautiful he is. How this is my life now. How 3 days ago I didn't know he existed, and now I can't imagine existing without him. "I called out of work," I admit, "told them I had a family emergency." "Is that what I am? A family emergency?" "You're definitely some kind of emergency." He laughs, leans forward to kiss me. It's soft, sweet, morning lazy. When he pulls back, his expression is serious. "I meant what I said last night, about wanting you to stay." "I know." So stay. Today. Tomorrow. However long you want. I have to go back to work eventually. I have clients depending on me. Then work from here. I have a home office you can use, or I'll drive you back and forth, whatever you need. He takes my hand. I'm not ready to let you go yet, Harper. Yet? Ever. The confession is raw, honest. I'm not ready to let you go ever, which is insane because it's been 3 days. But there it is. My heart is doing something complicated in my chest, something that feels like falling and flying at the same time. Okay, I whisper. Okay? Okay, I'll stay. The smile that crosses his face is worth every risk, every potential consequence, every warning I've ignored. Good, he says, because I have plans for you. Oh? What kind of plans? The kind that involve keeping you in this bed for at least the next several hours. I laugh. Set down my coffee. Pull him toward me. I think I can work with that. What I don't know, what I can't possibly know yet, is that 3 blocks away, someone is taking photographs. Someone who recognized me leaving Maxim's building this morning. Someone who's been watching him for months, waiting for an opportunity. Someone who just found his weakness. But I don't know that yet. Right now, in this moment, wrapped in Egyptian cotton sheets with the sun streaming through the windows, and the man I'm falling for looking at me like I hung the moon, everything is perfect. I'll learn about the photographs later. I'll learn what it means to be the weakness of a man like Maxim Volkov. I'll learn that you'll never be completely safe again. Wasn't a warning, it was a promise. But for now, I kiss him back and let myself believe that love might actually be enough, even though, in his world, it never is.